The next item on the agenda will go back to blacktop service. If you would like to give us your report.
I'm Bob Wagner with Blacktop Service. I talked with Jerry last week. We drove the streets, and he provided me a map that someone provided for the city on some of the recommendations they made. And we went around and drove it. This map is nice, but I think it's a lot more money than we need to spend. They were proposing a mill and overlay in some areas, but there's no reason to mill it. You were looking at probably $3,000 to $4,000 a block to mill it, and there's no reason to mill it. You could save that money and put it in more streets. In fact, I just did some measuring here. We would propose to do a level and seal on some of these streets, which is come in and lay a thin asphalt overlay to take the dips, the bumps, the holes, reprofile the street so it drains, and then put a seal coat, oil and chip seal coat on top of it.
Oil and what?
Oil and chip, a seal coat.
What's the chips made out of?
Stone, P-rock.
Chips, okay.
P-rock. And when we do the overlay, there'd be areas where you have your holes and your dips that we could be laying 2 to 3 inches. The good parts of the street where it's in good shape, we'd be possibly breaking rock in the asphalt because it'd be so thin. That's why we seal coat over to seal up those areas. But you're providing strength and stability in your bad spots and a little more strength in your good spots. We've been doing this for 25 years all over the state and had real good results with it. And it's a good way to stretch your dollar. You get a lot more yards covered and you get a lot more homes paved in front of with this and just an overlay.
How long does this last generally?
You're going to get 7 to 10 years without any trouble out of your streets.
For each street?
Yeah.
Even if they were bad to begin with?
Well, the ones I propose to do are not, they need some attention. Whoever drew up your map would propose to mill and overlay them, and I wouldn't do either one of those. I would just do the level and seal. And
even on West 1st Street?
West 1st Street?
Or East
1st Street.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do anything on that right now. Someone proposed completely tearing that out. I don't think you want to go that way. That's a major expense. And the street isn't that bad. I looked at doing Elm Street and Oak Street. Give you a chance to see how the product performs. And I broke it down by block. Elm Street from 1st to 2nd over here is a little bit shorter than the others for some reason. I don't know why. The square yardage on that one, I come up with about 934 square yards. Level and seal would be $6,984 for that block.
Say that again.
$6,984.
From 1st to 4th Street?
First
From
to
1st
second.
to 2nd.
Second,
Yeah.
okay.
On the...
Do they have copies of that?
I'm going to leave this with the 6th side. And from 2nd to 3rd, and then again from 3rd to 4th, those are both 1,067 square yards. Those would be $7,978.50 a piece. And then when you come over here to Oak, those are all the same length as the longer ones on Elm. Those would all be the $7,978.50, except Oak Street from 1st to 2nd, there are 2 core outs on there. There's one up on this intersection and one down on the south intersection. That'd be an extra $750 to patch those prior to doing the other. And then we also looked at the alley over here between 71 and Elm and 1st and 2nd. There's 3 patches in there that need to be cored out and fixed. And then level and seal, and that would be $7,150 for the alley.
How much was that?
$7,150. And I broke these down into individual streets, so you guys can look at it, kind of pick and choose, decide what makes sense to you, if anything, and go from there.
What kind of warranty do you have with it? Is it a year, 2 year, 5 year?
You know, you're going to, freeze-thaw cycle is something we can't control. And there's going to be some failure in places probably. You know, anything really drastically we take care of it. You know, you're going to see some natural wear and tear just from the frost. Do you guys have any weight traffic? Yeah, real heavy, but I don't think you got a lot of truck traffic on these two stretches, do you? You look at the...
Not supposed to. Not supposed to, but there is some.
You know, the streets they're starting to show some fatigue and some wear, some stress. And some of the things, the streets that they propose strictly for seal coat, I wouldn't worry about right now. Oak and Elm are your two stretches that you could definitely salvage and save for not a whole lot of money. You're looking at overlay, you're probably looking at $20,000 a block or better.
I think it was close to that, 25.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know,
What other towns do you do around?
we do Ida Grove. We're going to do some in Lakeview this week yet. We've done Glidden in the past, Emmitsburg, West Okoboji. We do about 100 towns a year around the country, all the way from the Missouri border to southern Minnesota, and from the Mississippi River all the way to the Missouri River in the northern half of the state. We do Marquette and McGregor over on the Mississippi. We've gone through just about every temperature variation in the state. The only place we don't work in the state is the very southeast one. But we work 2/3 or 3/4 of the state. The western half and the northern half. We've got Ida Grove. Anybody here familiar with anybody in Ida Grove?
What about
Yeah,
calendar?
Dennis Ernst.
Okay, Jared is a city street man over there. That's how Wall Lake called us, because they saw the product in Ida Grove, and that's done Battle Creek, Storm Lake, Cherokee, Newell, Fonda.
And how thick of an overlay did you say it was on your decent parts?
On the real good part, you'll have less than an inch.
Less than an inch.
The bad spots, like I drove these, you've got lots of dips. Looks like almost maybe some sewer trenches and kind of settled. Some of those areas you're going to end up with a couple inches. We bring a paver in, and when you stretch that out, that screed of the paver spans that whole area. So you get a nice straight, level top, and all those dips underneath is what it helps take care of. And then you get the water off the street in the wintertime. That helps a lot too. You've got ponding now in those low spots, and then traffic pounds through it, and then it breaks, and then the water goes down, and then you just have more issues, and everything gets worse.
Does anyone have any more questions for Bob?
You have a business card with you?
Yes,
I have
sir.
a friend in Arcadia that's on the council over there, and they got a bunch of stuff they have to do.
May I ask a
Yes,
question?
Jen.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Do you recommend a yearly maintenance plan for these?
On this kind of street,
Yeah.
I would say if you guys, whatever you would do here on these, you wouldn't have to touch again for quite a while.
What if there becomes cracks in them? You recommend that they be sealed or? Like a seal? Like a seal?
Yeah, a lot of times the seal coat would work. We've got a lot of towns that we've been doing this, and over, they get on a program of doing 5 to 7 years, they'll cover the entire city in that much time. And there's a lot of years that we do very little in there because it just
It stays that well?
stays.
And you don't develop cracks in the street?
Oh, you will in time.
Yeah.
But a seal coat down the line, just a regular seal coat, will help if you get them before they start to get potholes and the rust, and the settling. Whenever you have sewer underneath, the settling is something
Yeah.
that comes in. You just can't prevent it.
Sir, is it possible will you do or bid personal driveways,
Yeah.
side parking, if it's permissible with the city, and that sort of thing? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yep.
the
Superintendent will be in
individual
town, and we like to pick up whatever we can when we can.
Okay.
We've done Lakeview, and we're going to Wall Lake yet here probably this week. And we've done Lanesboro.
But But you can segment out the price so that
Yes, I did.
it's a personal, no, I mean, for personal driveways
Yes,
kind of?
yes.
Wonderful.
This side, didn't sign that. I've given Jerry some different numbers, but you got wider streets, and him and I were looking at it, estimated 20-foot streets, and we got 24.
Ah, it does make a difference. Thank you.
But here's what we'll do. This is per block. Do you want to pick out a couple to try it? More than one of them.
No mobilization or anything to have you come down and just do a couple?
No, we'll be in the area.
Yeah, for,
And you got time in your schedule yet this fall?
We would do it here in the next 2 weeks. If you want to do it,
We can try it.
We would probably have an asphalt crew in here by the end of the week when we get done evaluating.
Okay, well, we'll see what they decide.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Now we'll listen to the pavement doctor.
Hi. I'm Brian Prescott with the Pavement Doctor out of Fort Dodge. And I also, probably a couple weeks ago, had the opportunity to travel with Jerry and take a look at the streets. And I guess I would concur with Bob in the fact that when I first took a look at that, and we were talking about reconstruction of some of the streets and actually milling the streets. And I looked at it and I did kind of shake my head because, you know, I guess maybe in the perfect world, long-term, something like that would not be, would be wonderful to do. You know, I'm from a town called Ringstead. 400 and some people, tax base of probably very similar to what you have here in Auburn. If you take a look at reconstruction, milling, and everything of streets, I don't know what your bid is, but that I'm sure that cost come in was just astronomical to take a look at for a tax base for the size of the city of Auburn. In traveling with Jerry, one of the comments, he says, you know what, we have some of these, we're taking a look at a street and they're talking about a reconstruction or milling something, and you take a look at the street, and he says, you know, to the average layman, I take a look at the street, and I don't think this has changed appreciably in the last 3 years. Well, it probably hasn't. Not a lot. Now, do your streets need some attention? Yeah, you've got some alligator cracking and some spalling and that type of thing going on. I deal with, work with many of the same towns that Blacktop Service does. The type of, when he's talking about a seal coat, and he's talking about the pea gravel and the oil, you know, when they come down, what they'll do, they'll lay down the oil and come in and they'll roll and they'll lay the pea gravel on top of it. My product complements that extremely well. Same type of products. It's called the CRS2 emulsion. That probably doesn't mean a lot. What it is, it's a water-based emulsion, and the product hardens as the water evaporates out of the product. What I do, I'm not here to give you a bid on redoing one of your blocks, your streets per se. Where my business actually has come in is I've actually come in and hit a number of areas in the town where all of a sudden that alligator cracking and those swales are getting bigger, where they are going to be the problem areas. Because, you know, there's parts of those streets that are going to last a long time. Now, if you have a budget where you can afford to seal coat a few streets, I would say, you know, I think Blacktop Service is a good company, and if you're going to seal coat something, that wouldn't be a bad direction to go if you wanted to try and do a couple blocks. But it all comes down where I kind of come from is the money standpoint. Where can you stretch your dollars and buy yourself some time with some of these streets that you don't need to redo for a while? You probably ought to give them some attention so they don't get real bad. But you do need to do something with some of these areas. The area with the major reconstruction down there, yeah, probably is your worst street, but I wouldn't say by a long shot. Now, you do have one bad area, I think, is it down towards the elevator or something there as far as the holes or something. I can tell you right now, with heavy truck traffic and turning, unless that is poured concrete or something, that'll probably always be a little bit of a problem area for you. It just that's the reality of it will. But you have a lot of areas around town that I think you can spray injection patch some of these areas and get by. Who do I work with? You know, I think when I was here at Jerry, it says feel free to talk to any of the street men in the neighboring towns. Jack with the city of Lakeview, Dick Steinkamp down here at City of Breda, Dave Paulson, the county engineer for Carroll County. Do a lot of work for Sac County, Mike Rydell, the road superintendent, Sac City, Bob Scheffler. And where I've come in with every one of those cities is the fact to say, yeah, we'd love to redo every one of these. But you know what? We can't afford to redo every one of these. Elm Street, Oak Street, for example, I don't know those block stretch. I was listening to the figures, you know, and I guess I have the, sitting here and I guess I knew about what they would tell you, $7,000 to $8,000 a block. You know, I can probably do the whole damn street for $2,500 a block and patch the worst areas of the street. Now, that's not a bad direction to go if you wanted to seal coat. And if you are going to seal coat and do something, I'm going to tell you right now, do your best streets. Don't do your worst streets. Do the areas you think are your best streets, and maybe seal coat those and try to save those from being good streets for a long, long time. However, you can patch a number of areas in this town for, I think you have my quote here, $260 a ton.
Yeah, they have the quote, but they don't have this number, Scott.
Okay.
He wrote on this map for me.
Okay. Right here on this map, I looked at some of the streets about how many ton I thought it would take to actually go in and patch the areas and stuff. And some of these I'm getting pretty extensive on. And I always, when I do this, when I say it's not going to exceed this amount. You know, if I tell you I'm going to do East 3rd Street, and that whole thing would be 10 ton, which is, you know, your 1, 2, 3 blocks, you're looking at $2,600. I'm telling you it won't exceed $2,600. What I'm telling you is, like, if you say, okay, Brian, we want to do these certain blocks or something on these different areas, that's like a not to exceed. I estimated that, and I think I figured that out. And they can see this. This is the different, but I did write the different tonnage that I thought it might take on some of the different streets. The two of them you were talking about, were we talking about a 3-block stretch of Elm Street?
Yeah.
I was looking at something like that. The material on Elm Street, taking, if I was to go in and patch the areas that I think need to be patched, where you're starting to get those low areas and stuff, and patch those, or where those alligator cracks start getting bigger, 10 ton. Oak Street, I had figured 15 ton.
Which is $3,900 for the whole 3 blocks.
Can I ask you something? A lot of that patch stuff, when you patch them holes, tends to peel back up out around the patches if you don't cover the whole thing, if you ever noticed.
That's why, good question. When you patch a hole, when a lot of times when people think to patch a hole, you're talking about putting in old mix. And you take in there, you know, a lot of times you see the black, you put it in the hole, right here. That's the one thing when the spray injection patching, and I prefer, and if they use P-Rock, I would recommend it. See, and I know they do a lot of it, and I think it's because what they get in the area. I think limestone gives you a better seal coat almost than pea gravel. Pea gravel will give you hard, but you get a little less bleed through and stuff with the limestone because of the number of fines, and they do it. But you have to use the rock that's kind of in the area. I will haul the limestone out of Fort Dodge when I do it, but it's the same type of product. It's a CRS2. But see, if I get a dip area, here's your hole. I don't do the hole. I mean, I'll do the hole, but I get out around it where it looks like anything that's going to run into the hole. Freezing and thawing, can it affect? Yeah, it can affect it. But you know, I've been doing this since 2000.
That is brand new concrete.
And I tell you what, I've been doing it since 2000. And go ahead and visit with the cities that I've mentioned, or if it's Rockwell City, Sac City, Lakeview, Breda. I've been doing, I'm not going to say a corner or something that can't come out, but if I come back in and have to spray inject that corner, if I'm fixing a corner, that's something that's probably going to cost you $20 when you're actually talking material cost or something, when you're talking about it from a tonnage standpoint, when you actually have to come back.
So this basically is a crack filler versus putting in asphalt?
No,
or is it?
This is a seal coat style patch. When he talks about seal coating a street, this is a seal coat style patch.
Okay.
Where you actually come in and I come in with a blower and I blow all the fines and everything out of it, and then I put a hot tack coat of this same, when he says oil, CRS2 emulsion over the area, and then I spray inject the limestone chips with the emulsion into the patch. and then I spray a little clean aggregate on top of it, so you can drive on it right away and stuff as you're looking.
Roll it in and do it.
I don't roll.
What's your question?
No, I don't roll it. You can.
Scott, explain that again.
Yeah, say that
Explain
one
that,
more time.
what your process is.
Okay. Well, you know, and if I wasn't there, I have a video where it actually shows the thing. I come in, the machine has a blower on it, and I'll come in on the street, and let's say I'm going to fix this area right here, and there's alligator cracks. Well, when you have an alligator cracks, rather than come in with, you can try to sweep it, but the blower, what goes down in those tracks are fines, you know, like dirt. And when the dirt gets in it, you've got to get the dirt out of there, and the little fines. I mean, if it's something really hard, that's one thing, but the fines, the stuff from the dirt, and whether it's dust from the mill or whatever, you know, if it's corn shavings or something that gets down in there, and you just try to tack it, that's what keeps it from actually sticking and adhering to the good pavement you have. So when I come in with the blower, when I hit that, that stuff will just blow out of the whole area and stuff that's there. And then I'll tap over the top of it, seal it up, put a seal coat down, and then I'll mix the aggregate and emulsion. I'll spray inject it into the patch, feather it in there, spray a little clean rock, and you're ready to drive on it right away. Do I roll it? No, I don't roll it. No. So I'm going to tell you this, if those guys come in with a paver or something, that's the one thing you are going to have, and especially the thing, when I get that thing done, I feather that in there and get it pretty close to grade, but I don't sit there and make sure it's smooth as a baby's butt, you know, to sit there and go across when you're done. No, it isn't that you're not going to have. But if you're looking to save an area on the street, and keep that street from busting up and making, you know, and having holes, that's where this comes in.
How long do you guarantee that? I mean, what's the longevity of something like that?
The longevity of it is very similar just to what he talked about, a seal coat. Your patch, you might have some corners or something around the patch or something come, but you know what, 90% of your patch is going to be there the next year. You can have some problem areas, and that usually I'll come back to the city the next year, and when they have me hit some other areas, that's just part of, I'll go and fix some of the, you know, the corners and that type of thing.
So you don't just, so you fix the holes, you don't actually seal coat the entire road?
I don't seal coat the entire road, no. I hit the worst areas in road, because the thing you have, you go through and you have a lot of streets where your whole road doesn't need to be fixed right now. Now, if you can afford to do a whole road or a whole block, sometimes I'm not saying that's not a bad fix. I mean that's good if you can do that, but I don't know what the cost if you do the math if you try to do every block in town. You know, in that regard. So I guess where I come in is and this is what I do for Sac City. This is what I do for Rita. This is what I'll do for, and some of them, some years if they think their roads can get by, they won't do anything that next year other than patch the areas they think are the worst. But if they think, okay, hey, you know what, we're going to redo these 3-4 block area, then they have me come in and I'll have me hit the other areas in town. Say, you know what, this one isn't scheduled to be done here for 2 years. We don't have the money to do this. Brian, you go patch this block, this block, this block, and you know, and I hit the bad areas. But buy yourself some time so you're not looking at all of a sudden having to redo all of it.
How much time are you buying? How long is that patch?
Just
fairly good for?
You'll have those patches there for 5 years. You know, the 5 to 7 years. It's a seal coat style patch, which is the same thing as the seal coat style overlay. It's just in a smaller area. You're not doing the whole road. It's a seal coat style patch in a small area as opposed to a whole area.
Because it was, you did it at 149 tons.
You want to reiterate what your bid was for the whole town, Brian?
Don't really have a bid for the whole town. Here's what I did.
Okay,
Here's what I did.
Here's
what I did. Here's what I did. I would never, if I were to do that whole thing and say that was the worst case scenario, I think I might have put 149 when I was figuring all the tonnage of that. That's the worst. I don't think they're going to use that much material, to be honest with you. And in fact, if you told me to go in and use my discretion, when I looked at those streets, I kind of guard myself when a worst case scenario. Say, okay, if I had to redo a huge area, most of these I can cut that down substantially. I tell you how I work when we do that. I'll go in and weigh in at the elevator and have them stamp a gross ticket. And when I'm done with that load, I'll have them stamp the tear weight on it. And then you get billed 260 ton for 7.3 ton. For example, if this street right here was 10 ton, and it took us 7.3 ton to do it, you get billed for 7.3 ton. If it takes me 12 ton to do it, you get billed for 10 ton. So
it will not exceed.
It will not exceed. And I looked at that project as a whole, not, in the different areas. Because some of that might, I'll be honest with you, one of those blocks might take me a skosh over there, one might take me some less. But, I guess I'm here. I'm not here to sit there and say I'm going to... Again, I'm here to buy you some time on these streets because I just don't know.
It just got unfortunate.
How a town, and where I got started in this business 12 seasons ago, was doing a lot of the Auburns of the world. I do Ringstead, I do Grettinger, up north. I'll do Sway City. I'll work my way down the highway when I get in this area. I always think of the area. I'll do Rockwell City, I do Sac City, I do Breda, I do Lakeview, I do Lake City. I do Carroll County. I'll do. This week I'm working the city of Rawl, and then I go to Boone, and I do patchwork. I come in the alligator cracks, the swale areas to buy themselves some time because they just don't have it in their budget to all of a sudden redo this whole stretch of road right now.
How come we're just finding out about you? Really?
But this was some, I guess my thing is...
Because he's too busy doing the job himself, he's not out selling his company every day.
Well, and here's the next thing. I'm the guy you get. I mean, if you have a problem, I don't send a crew in here to do it.
Oh, you do?
I'm the guy running the machine. I come in here, I've run the thing for 12 years, and I do it. In fact, tomorrow morning I hit the road at 5:30 and I go to the city of Lamar's, and I'm doing this very thing for the city of Lamar's. And, am I doing the whole city? No, but I'm doing the streets where they're not scheduled to be, redone for a while, and I'm hitting areas where they're having dips, alligator cracks, holes, and stuff like that crop up where they can't get coal mix to stick in them, and they can't do that type of thing. But I guess my other thing, if you wanna try some of it, I run much like through till the weather gets a little colder. My days get a little shorter because you need the warmer weather when you actually put it down. But the stuff does set relatively quickly. I'll run through just about the end of October, but most of my work will be done here within the next 3 to 4 weeks.
So is it something that they can drive over? You do it that day, they can drive on it?
I do. When I get off that block, you just come right down behind me and you drive on it. And that's the one thing when you first drive on it, you are going to kick up some, but even on a seal coat street, you're going to kick a little bit.
Yeah.
When you have that, but you let the traffic, it does stay a little bit pliable, that CRS2, for it to pack in. But you will have a little bit of the rock, that they'll kick up on it. It's just that's an evil of a seal coat. Asphalt or concrete, you can block the street up and then get on it, and you don't have that, which you will with a seal coat. But a seal coat you can do so much more reasonably than you can. I guess I'd just ask you to, if you want to visit with the county engineer or some of the neighboring cities. I'd love to have your business, but then I know they would too, and shoot, maybe it's such a situation where you can kind of incorporate both. I don't know where you're at for money and what you want to do.
So you don't do any seal coating at all? It's just...
Mine's a seal coat style patch, but I don't do the whole road.
But you want to, okay.
Yeah.
So
I kind of did. I kind of filled this niche market a little bit. There's a lot of guys that do the seal coating, type of thing,
Yeah.
where they do that, come in with the crews and do that. But I kind of come in and give the areas attention rather than just do the whole street, because I think so many times I don't think you need to address a whole street. As Jerry was saying, I look at some of these areas, you know, redo the whole street, this hasn't changed appreciably in the whole time I've been here, and it doesn't. You're looking at some of your streets too, I'm assuming in Auburn, outside of your elevator, you know, the road that goes to the elevator, it's not like you have a tremendous amount of heavy traffic or anything on it, both in the way of car numbers and in the way of dump trucks or something driving down the residential areas. If you give those some attention, you can buy yourself a lot of time on a lot of your streets. Fix the areas where the alligator cracks are really kind of, where it's starting to dip and give and swale, and then overlay that, and you can buy yourself some time on it. And I like to build it up just a little bit too, because if you get something too thin on that thing, when you have alligator cracks, you will see those things a little bit rise to the surface a little bit in time.
You have a business card?
I sure do. In fact,
So do you have any time yet this fall?
yeah, I do. I've been fortunate. I've been pretty busy and everything here, but I certainly can get that.
And it doesn't rain here.
Yeah. Don't say that, then you'll think, then we'll get the rain now.
There we go. I'll give you a card. My number's on that pen there too.
Super, thank you.
Does anyone have any more questions for Brian?
Thanks, Brian.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well, we thank you for your time then, and we will look into this very seriously to see what we can do.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I say, if I could say one thing in leaving, whether it's Jerry or you as council member or mayor, take some time and visit with one of the neighboring cities and see what they've incorporated too, and what they found what works for them and stuff too, or the county engineer or something.
Jerry is hiding in our corner. We took him there.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks.
Council approve the fall work plan, or do you want to?
I'd like to check into those a little more myself. Yeah, from the neighboring towns.
Okay. Then it's tabled. We have all the information on the rate study.